Welcome back to the channel Old Coins Value today as we take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and surprising stories in the world of coin collecting, a story that shows how a tiny 1-cent coin from 1992, something that many people would pass by or leave in their pocket change without a second thought, can in fact be worth up to $22 million because of unique minting errors, rare varieties, and unexpected mistakes that slip through the minting process, creating a numismatic treasure that has become one of the most talked about coins in the hobby and a symbol of how patience, knowledge, and a sharp eye can turn a humble penny into a life-changing fortune. And as we go deeper into the details, you will learn how these coins came to be, what makes them different from ordinary 1992 Lincoln cents, the kinds of mint marks, dies, and details that set them apart, why collectors are willing to pay millions of dollars for a single piece, and how these little-known errors elevate a common copper-plated zinc coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So let us begin by understanding that the 1992 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, a design that ran for decades from 1959 until 2008, and while billions of these coins were produced in the United States during the early 1990s, making them one of the most common coins in circulation, the key to their extraordinary value lies in a very rare design variation that came out of the mints in Philadelphia and Denver in 1992, a variation so subtle that many collectors overlooked it for years, yet once discovered, it became legendary among numismatists because it represented a transitional design type where the spacing between the letters and the word America on the reverse of the coin, specifically the distance between the A and the M, is slightly different from the normal design, leading to what is known as the close AM variety. And while to the untrained eye this looks like a trivial detail, in the world of numismatics it signals that a proof die intended for special collector coins was accidentally used to strike regular circulation coins, and this sort of mint mistake is what creates extreme rarity and astronomical value. And when you pair that with the fact that only a handful of these 1992 close AM cents have been authenticated by major grading companies like PCGS and NGC, you begin to see why a coin with a face value of 1 cent can reach values in the tens of millions when collectors with deep pockets compete to own one of the rarest modern varieties in American coinage. And this is not only about the close AM variety, because the 1992 cent series has other layers of intrigue, including issues with mint marks, striking quality, die polishing, and hubbing errors that all play a role in creating collectible rarities. And when we think about mint marks specifically, the Denver Mint produced its share of coins with subtle variations, such as slightly misplaced or weakly struck demint marks, which in some cases combined with the close AM variety, further increasing their desirability and rarity. And what makes this even more fascinating is that coins like the 1992 close AM were not discovered immediately in 1992, instead they sat in circulation, change jars, and rolls for years, often overlooked by millions of people, until sharp-eyed collectors and specialists began to notice that something was different about certain examples, and once they compared the reverse lettering spacing with normal coins, the discovery spread like wildfire through the numismatic community, instantly transforming an ordinary-seeming coin into a holy grail. And as auction records show, rare varieties of the 1992 cent have fetched staggering sums when they appear on the market, with some examples reaching millions due to their condition, certified authenticity, and sheer rarity. And this has led many people around the world to start carefully examining their pocket change and coin collections, hoping to stumble upon one of these treasures, because after all, the dream of finding a 1-cent coin worth $22 million is something that excites both seasoned collectors and casual enthusiasts, and the story only deepens when we consider that transitional design errors like the 1992 close AM foreshadowed changes that would officially appear later. Since the wide AM spacing remained the standard for circulation coins until 1993, meaning that any 1992 cent showing the close spacing is literally a production mistake, a slip of the mint that has become immortalized in collecting history. And beyond just spacing, many collectors search for doubled dies, die cracks, off-center strikes, and other striking errors from the same year, some of which add further premiums to the coin's value. And though they may not reach the 22 million mark, they still command hundreds or thousands of dollars in auctions depending on severity and rarity. And this shows how much depth there is in coin collecting when it comes to tiny details that most people would never notice. And it also demonstrates why the 1992 cent has become so legendary, because it combines the allure of a common circulating coin with the thrill of a hidden treasure, a simple object of everyday commerce that secretly holds the power to transform lives. And as we reflect on the idea of a penny being worth more than a luxury mansion or a fleet of sports cars, it sparks curiosity about how minting errors happen in the first place. So let us consider that the US Mint operates enormous machinery that strikes billions of coins each year, using dies that are supposed to match specific designs and years, but sometimes due to human error, mix-ups in the die preparation rooms, or accidents in the production process. A proof die meant only for collectors' sets finds its way onto a circulation press, creating a hybrid coin that should never exist, and once a few of these are released into circulation, they are nearly impossible to recall, ensuring their survival as ultra-rare varieties, and when certified by expert grading companies and encapsulated in tamper-proof holders, these coins gain legitimacy and become investment pieces sought by the world's top collectors, which explains the record-breaking prices they achieve. And the 1992 cent story is also a reminder of how details like mint marks can change everything, because a tiny letter D or no mint mark at all can be the difference between a coin being common pocket change or a multi-million-dollar rarity. And throughout history there have been famous era coins like the 1955 double die cent, the 1943 copper cent, and the 1974 aluminum cent, each commanding huge sums. But the 1992 close AM cent stands out as one of the most valuable because of its modernity and scarcity combined, making it a legend among US coins. And for those watching who dream of finding one, the advice is simple yet challenging. Look closely at every 1992 penny you encounter, check the reverse spacing, examine the mint mark, and consider having it authenticated if you think you've found a close AM, because even though the odds are tiny, the possibility of holding a coin worth $22 million in your hand is real, and that dream is what keeps collectors motivated, searching through rolls, jars, and even inherited collections from parents or grandparents, hoping to be the lucky one who discovers a forgotten treasure. And as you can see, this story of the 1992 1-cent coin is not just about money, it is about history, craftsmanship, human error, and the thrill of discovery, turning something ordinary into something extraordinary. And that is why we continue to explore these incredible stories from the world of numismatics, inspiring people to look more carefully at the smallest things in life. Because sometimes the smallest coin can hold the greatest value, and the legend of the 1992 1-cent close AM valued at $22 million will continue to inspire collectors for generations to come, reminding us all that hidden treasures are out there, waiting to be found, and every pocket full of change has the potential to hold a miracle. So next time you see a 1992 penny, don't dismiss it, take a closer look, because you just might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and numismatics, and in particular we will explore the astonishing story of the 1993 1-cent USA coin, a coin that is normally worth just a single cent in everyday transactions but which in some extremely rare cases has been valued by collectors and experts at an unbelievable $21 million. A value so astronomically different from its face value that it naturally raises questions, curiosity, and amazement, and it is this dramatic difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary that makes coin collecting such a captivating field. So today we are going to take a long journey into why a simple 1993 penny minted in Denver could become so incredibly valuable, what kinds of minting errors and mistakes contribute to this astronomical valuation, how tiny imperfections, overlooked details, and unexpected anomalies can completely change the destiny of a coin, why mint marks matter so much to collectors, and what possibilities surround such unique specimens. So as we begin, let's first set the stage by recognizing that the United States Mint produces billions of pennies each year, with most being completely ordinary and spending their lives passing from hand to hand, buying small goods, sitting in jars, or being dropped into vending machines. Yet within these billions of coins, mistakes inevitably happen, mistakes caused by human error, by machine misalignment, by faulty dies, by double striking, by off-center stamping, by planchet flaws, or even by incorrect materials being fed into presses. And every once in a while such mistakes are not caught by the rigorous inspection processes and quality controls of the mint, slipping through to circulation and eventually being discovered by sharp-eyed collectors who realize that what seems like just a penny may in fact be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And this is precisely what brings us to the legendary story of the 1993 1-cent coin with its staggering $21 million valuation. For at first glance the 1993 penny is just like any other Lincoln cent, featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been standard since 1959, struck from copper-plated zinc with the small D mint mark below the date signifying the Denver Mint. But what makes this coin stand apart from billions of its siblings are the unique error conditions under which it was struck, and collectors and numismatists have long theorized about the specific combination of anomalies that could have led to such a coin becoming so valuable. And so we dive deeper into the kinds of errors and mint mark mysteries that elevate a humble cent into a multi-million-dollar prize, beginning with the category of doubled dies, one of the most famous and sought-after types of mint error, in which the coin's design elements such as lettering, date, or images appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And if a 1993 D cent were to show strong doubling on the date, or on Lincoln's face, or on the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," such an error would make the coin instantly remarkable, and collectors would bid furiously to own it. But beyond doubling, there are also striking anomalies, such as off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the planchet was not properly aligned beneath the die, or broad strikes where the coin expands beyond its intended border, or even multiple strikes where the coin is struck 2 or more times with partial overlapping impressions, each of these contributing to uniqueness and therefore to immense collector appeal. Then we consider wrong planchet errors, in which a cent is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another denomination. For example, if a 1993 D penny were accidentally struck on a dime or nickel planchet, it would stand out dramatically in size, weight, and metal content, and because collectors prize such mix-ups so highly, the value could skyrocket. Another possibility is transitional errors, where coins are struck with designs or compositions from 2 different years during a changeover in materials, and though 1993 itself was not a major transition year, the possibility of experimental planchets or leftover blanks being used cannot be completely ruled out. And when it comes to mint marks, anomalies can also become immensely valuable. For example, repunched mint marks in which the D is doubled, tripled, or otherwise shows evidence of being struck more than once by the mint mark punch, creating an unusual visual effect that is highly prized, or over mint marks where one letter appears on top of another due to a repurposed die. Though rare for modern coins, such possibilities drive up the mystery and the hunt. And when collectors believe that a coin may represent a unique, or virtually unique combination of such anomalies, prices can reach astronomical levels. And that is where the fabled $21 million valuation enters, for if a single 1993 D cent were discovered with an incredible and verifiable combination of double die features, off-metal planchet striking, and mint mark anomalies, it would not just be rare, it would be singular, possibly the only one of its kind. And in numismatics, the law of rarity dictates value, meaning that if a coin is unique and in demand, its value is limited only by how much collectors are willing to pay. And there have been instances in coin history where one-of-a-kind coins reached multi-million-dollar prices, such as the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, and though those are different denominations, the principle holds true, that collectors and investors will pay extraordinary sums for coins that combine rarity, uniqueness, and historical intrigue. So while the average 1993 D cent is worth 1 cent and perhaps a bit more if in uncirculated condition, the mythical $21 million example stands as a symbol of just how dramatically errors and mistakes can alter the destiny of a coin. And when we imagine the journey of such a penny, we must picture it leaving the Denver Mint, unnoticed amidst countless others, passing into circulation, perhaps being tucked away in change, later found by someone with an eye for anomalies, scrutinized under magnification, sent for authentication, and eventually placed on the auction block where collectors battle with millions of dollars to own it, because the human fascination with rarity, imperfection, and hidden treasure is timeless. And this is what makes coin collecting so endlessly engaging, for every coin in your pocket could potentially harbor a story waiting to be discovered, and though the chances are infinitesimally small, the possibility exists. And it is that very possibility that excites collectors and viewers alike. So as you watch this video, remember that the 1993 D penny teaches us the extraordinary lesson that even the most ordinary seeming object, when touched by rare chance and error, can become worth a fortune. And in our discussion we see how different categories of mint errors, from doubled dies to off-center strikes, from wrong planchets to mint mark anomalies, all contribute to the rich tapestry of numismatic wonder. and how a coin that should buy nothing more than a piece of candy can instead command millions at auction. And as we continue through this exploration, we understand that part of the allure lies not just in the money but in the mystery, the history, and the thrill of the hunt. For collectors around the world devote lifetimes to searching rolls of pennies, to studying slight differences in lettering, to comparing mint marks, to uncovering those once-in-a-generation discoveries. And it is this passion that fuels the stories we share. So thank you for joining us in this deep dive into the legendary 1993 D1-cent coin and its astonishing valuation of $21 million. And keep watching, keep collecting, and keep your eyes open, because you never know when the next great discovery may be hiding right in your change jar.